For this, you are going to need this piece of paper right here. And so what I'm going to do is walk you through this side of it, and then the other side is going to be up to you to do. So there's a back side to this. My side, mine doesn't have it, but there's a back side to this, and that one is your responsibility. But this side is notes, so you need to watch this first. Whenever I check it, I will be checking both sides. Alrighty, let's do this. We're going to be solving systems of equations with elimination. Let's not get too crazy. Let's just start by looking at number 1. And let me point out a couple things to you. We have x plus y equals 11, and we have x minus y equals 3. These are getting crazier and crazier, and the reason we're doing this is so eventually when we get to practical, real word problems, you'll have some skills needed to solve those things using stuff like this. So, before we get too much further, let's glance at this and realize what we have going on. In the past, we would finish this up and we'd say, oh, x equals this, or y equals this, or n equals this. Well, now, it's not just an x, it's an x and a y. We have two things going on. So, let's kind of set this aside for just a second. I want to point out something that's very, very obvious. I'm making something up here. Just go with it. If I had a 5 and I wanted to get rid of it, what could I do? I could subtract 5, right? Because 5 minus 5 is 0. That's going to come in handy. If I had a 7 and I wanted to get rid of it, I could subtract 7 and I'd have a 0. Why are you telling me this, Mr. Reader? I'm glad you asked. If I had an x and I wanted to get rid of it, I could subtract it and I'd get 0 and it would be gone. If I had a y and I wanted to get rid of it, I could subtract y and it would be gone. These are inverse operations. I have something and I subtract it, and now I have 0 of them. So let's come up here and see what we have going on. Here's the first problem. This same idea is about to happen, only we're going to add straight down. I have 1x plus 1x. I have 2 x's. I have 1y minus 1y. I have 1y minus 1y, and it gives me 0. If you wanted to waste your ink or your pencil lead, you could put plus 0, and I have 0 y's. I'm going to erase that in a second because I don't need it. But that is equal to 11 plus 3, and that is 14. Okay, so what I'm going to do is erase the 0y, because I have no y's now. They're gone. Why even talk about them? Let's erase some of this stuff over here too. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so 2x equals 14. 2 times something gives me 14. You know this, I know this. I'm not even going to show the step. We would divide by 2 and we would get 7. Are we finished? No, we're not. See, here's the thing. By the time I'm done, I need to know what x is and I need to know what y is. I have 2 variables now. By the way, that's going to, again, come in handy when we get to word problems where I'm going to have 2 different things going on, like the number of adults and a number of children that went to an amusement park, or, you know, the number of pies I sold and the number of cakes I sold, and we have 2 things we have to find. If I'm looking for 2 variables, then I better have 2 equations. If I'm looking for 3 variables, I better have 3 equations. If I'm looking for 1 variable, 1 equation will do. Anyway, I'm looking for x and I'm looking for y. So what I'm going to do is take what I know and use that to find what I don't know. I'm going to go back to this top equation. I like to pick that one because everything's positive. So 1x plus 1y equals 11. Alright, so I'm looking for y now. I know what x is, so I'm not even going to put x here anymore. The next line is not going to say x, it's going to say 7, because x is 7. So 7 plus y is 11, and now it's pretty much common sense. 7 plus something gives me 11. I know what it is, you know what it is, but let's show it. So we're going to subtract 7 from both sides, and we have y equals 4. This is correct, but with a lot of the stuff that we do when we're looking for an x and a y, it might be graphical, meaning we might eventually, you don't have to write this, but we might graph something and we'll have an equation that does one thing and an equation that does another one, and there is a coordinate, and that coordinate is an x and a y, and so it is x, which was 7, and y, which is 4. That's my final answer. Okay? That was the first one. We're going to do the second one, and then I'm going to give you the steps for doing this, and then we'll walk through the rest of the ones on the front side of this paper. So here goes the second one. Let me write it down and we'll get started. Negative x plus y equals 2. Negative x plus y equals 2. And x plus y equals 14. Okay, I'm going to put a line underneath them because I'm about to add them straight down. So let's go back to the original idea. I had it written over here. And I said if I had something and I wanted to get rid of it, then I need an inverse operation. I need to subtract whatever I had. Or if I had a negative, I need to add it. So let me expound on that. Right now I have negative 1x, and if I add 1x to it, I could put a plus here if I wanted to. Negative 1 plus 1 was 0. If I had negative 1 and then I gained 1, I'm back to 0. I lose a yard in one play. I'll gain a yard in the next play. I'm right back where I started, 0. So let's do this one. Negative 1x plus 1x is, well, 0 x's. I don't have to write it because I have 0 of them. I'm going to erase that in a second. 1y and 1y makes 2y's, and that is positive. And that is equal to 2 plus 14, which is 16. And I'm looking for y. Now, again, I don't need the 0 x's because they're gone. That's kind of the point. That's why we call this, you can look at the top of the paper. Look at the top of the paper that says solving systems of equation by elimination. I'm eliminating a variable. Okay, 2 times something gives me 16. We're going to divide by 2. Cancel those out. Y is equal to 8. Fantastic. So now what I'm going to do is find out what x is. Can I skip ahead a little bit? I believe I will. I'm going to skip ahead. Final answer is an x and then a y. I know the y. A minute ago I found x first. Well, now I found y. So make sure you put them in the correct order. So I don't know what x is, but I'm about to find out. So do you want to use the top equation or the bottom one? There is no wrong answer here. You can use either equation you want to, but I have a personal opinion. And my personal opinion is use the one that has the positives in it. It just makes it a little bit easier to deal with. So I'm going to use this one. I'm going to use 1x plus 1y. So x plus y equals 14. Okay? I know x plus y is 14. And oh wait, I know something else. I know that y is 8. So x plus 8 gives me 14. At this point you can start thinking through it logically. X plus something, something plus 8, my bad. Something plus 8 gives me 14. I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. And x equals 6. I know y, I know x. We done. Okay, here goes. There are 4 steps. Now, let's be realistic. Not all math, I'm standing in the way, aren't I? You probably wanted to see that. Here we go. Not all mathematics can be broken down into steps. So when I give you these 4 steps, please understand they don't always apply, and there are exceptions. And just let me real quick go here as a math teacher. I don't want to over-proceduralize things. I don't want to constantly give you a procedure for something where we miss the larger ideas and the larger concepts. So when we go through these 4 steps, they're not always going to be like this. There are bigger ideas and bigger concepts that'll make us kind of look beyond this and say, you know what, sometimes this doesn't apply. So I'm not going to write them down. Here's step number 1. Step number 1 is going to be to line up your x's and the y's on the same side of the equal marks and make it where one of the variables will cancel. Now, if you look through this paper front and back, you will realize that everything lines up pretty and everything's going to cancel. That won't always be the case. But step number 1 is not going to apply for this paper, but it's a good idea. Step number 2 is to add the equations straight down. So we're going to add these straight down. And when we do, one of the variables is eliminated. All right? Step 3, solve. Solve what you have. solve the equation that's left over. And then, step 4 is to take what you just found, take that variable you just had, and plug it into either equation to find the other variable. And you'll solve for that other variable. All right. So we know the 4 steps. You can pause it and go back if you need to. So you can write those down if you're a procedural kind of person, and that's fine. But again, understand that not all 4 of these steps are always going to apply, particularly the first one. So step 1 does not apply on this paper, but it will happen eventually. All right, let's erase this, and we're going to do the next one. And the next one is a word problem, and I have set up the next 2 to be very basic word problems, just so we can start getting into those and looking at them and trying to pick apart what each little sentence means. So, sentence number 1. The sum of 2 numbers is 2. Let's just stop right there. I have 2 numbers. What are they? I don't know. I don't know what they are. Because I don't know what they are, I'm going to call them X and Y. So here we go. The sum of 2 numbers is 2. If I have a sum, what does it mean? What am I doing? Well, a sum means to add, so I'm going to add X and Y, and I'm going to get 2. The sum of 2 numbers is 2. Second sentence. Their difference is -4. What does difference mean? It means I subtract them. So I'm going to subtract these same numbers, and I'm going to get -4. Okay, we good? On this paper, everything lines up pretty and things cancel very well. That's not always going to happen, but we're going to get the basics down before we get into the crazy ones. So, this is ready to go. By ready to go, what I mean is, if we were to add straight down, these would cancel because I have 1y minus 1y. 1y subtract 1y is 0 y's, and I have truly eliminated a variable. 1x, 1x is 2x. 1y minus 1y, they're gone. If you want to mark them out, you can, but I'm actually going to come back to it, so I probably shouldn't mark them out. 2 minus 4, 2 subtract 4 is -2. And at this point, I'm going to solve. So I'm going to divide by 2, and x equals -1. All right, time for a final answer. Not done yet, but I have half my answer. My final answer is always going to be a x and then a y. And if it's not x and y, I sometimes still write it like that, and I'll put them in alphabetical order based on whatever the variable is. So x is -1. And now I'm looking for my y. I don't know what it is, but I have an idea. Why don't I write down that top equation again and plug in what I know and find what I don't know? So -1 goes right here. Plus y, and that's equal to 2. Okay, I'm not going to show this next. Yeah, well. You talked me into it. What I want to do is find out what y is. I'm going to add 1 to both sides, and those cancel because -1 plus 1 is 0. I'm going to add 1 to both sides there, and then y equals 3. Done. I have x, I have y, I have found it. Real quick, I want to show you why this works. I'm going to switch colors here for a second. I'll go to red, just because I feel like it. And I want to prove to you that it works. So there is a way to check your answer, and that's to plug it into both equations. So knowing what x is and knowing what y is, this better work out. So here goes. I'm going to go back to the original problem, and I'm going to say, well, the sum of 2 numbers is 2. All right. If I add -1 plus 3, what do I get? 2. Sure enough, -1 plus 3 is 2. All right, let's try it again. The difference between these 2 numbers is -4. So -1 minus 3 is what? -4. Yes, this is an answer because what I just did was plug this in for x and this in for y, and I got the right stuff that I should get. -1 plus 3 is 2. -1 minus 3 is -4. It works. So this is how you can check your answer. All right, let's do the next one. The numbers are a little larger on this one, but they're not that bad. The sum of 2 numbers is 26. All right, what does sum mean? It means add. So we're going to add 2 numbers and get 26. I'm switching to red. Sum of 2 numbers is 26. Their difference, pause. Let's pause. What does difference mean again? Subtract. Their difference is 8. What are the numbers? I don't know, but I'm going to find out, and I'm going to write it right here. Okay, something is about to cancel. Let's look at it. See it? Oh, you see it? Something's going to cancel. Do the x's cancel? No. Do the y's cancel? Yes, they better. Something better cancel. 1 plus 1. I'm not insulting anybody's intelligence here, but it's 1x and 1x, so I have 2x. 1y minus 1y. Well, 1 minus 1 is 0. It's gone. I don't even have to put it anymore because it's gone. And that's equal to 32. 34, not 32. Sorry about that. I should have left it there and seen if y'all had caught it. Should have done that. Well, see, now it's on, because now I'm probably going to do that on purpose, so you need to be watching to make sure my math is right. I might mess up on purpose and then not fix it till the very end of the video, just to see if you're watching the whole thing. Game on. All right, let's divide by 2. Because 2 times something gives me 34, so 34 divided by 2 is, well, 17. Oh, what did I just find? X. Where does that go? There. Good? All right, let's do this. X plus y equals 26. What in the world, Mr. Reader? I'm looking for y. I know x, but I don't know the y value. So I'm going to plug it in. Why didn't you plug it in the bottom one? I could have. I just chose to plug it in the top one because the numbers were positive. So 17 is x. So instead of x, I want to put a 17 plus y, and that's equal to 26. 17 plus something gives me 26. You might can do it in your head. If you can't, you can at least write this down. And y equals whatever 26 minus 17 is. I'm tempted not to tell you. I'm not going to tell you yet. I'm going to wait a second. How patient are you? Are you waiting on me to write it, or are you grabbing your calculator? Or do you know it in your head? I hope you know it in your head. All right, if you're 17 now, in how many years will you be 26? Nope, I'm going to leave you hanging. This is fun. No, not yet. You're ready for me to move on, aren't you? Not yet. All right, let's do the next problem. Driving you crazy, isn't it? All right. 5x plus y equals 29. And 3x minus y equals 3. It's bugging you that I haven't finished the last problem, isn't it? It's bugging me too. I'm going to leave it up there for now, though. Okay, if I was to add straight down, does something cancel? Yes. For 2 reasons. First, I told you it was going to be that way on this paper. Second, because it won't always be that way. Let me make sure I know why. 5 plus 3, well, that's not 0. That's 8. 1 plus negative 1, 0. It's gone. There you go. Y'all knew that, right? So let's do this. I'm going to do this backwards just because I feel like it. 29 plus 3 is 32. 1y plus negative 1y. Okay, you can say 1 plus negative 1. You could say 1 minus 1. Same thing. You have 0 y's. 5 plus 3 is 8. Oops, I just messed up. I did mess up, but I'm going to leave it there for a second and see if you can catch it while I erase this. We'll come over here. Y'all see what I did wrong? You see it? Easy mistake to make. Actually, people do it all the time. Teachers do it all the time. Clearly, I did it. We'll see if you can find my mistake. It was unintentional. It just happened so quickly. You got it? Here's what it is. What eliminated? What variable is gone? 1y minus 1y, 0 y's. What? Why do I have 8 of them? I don't have 8 y's. I have 8 x's. So I better fix that. So we're going to put 8x as an ugly x. Anyway, we're going to divide by 8. And x equals 4. Well, that is fantastic. I know what x is, but I don't know what y is. Come over here and I'm going to put my final answer. It's always x and then y. So there's 4 and then something. I don't know what. So we're going to come over here and we're going to pick an equation. We have a couple options. I could use the top equation, and if I do that, that's fine. The numbers are a little bit bigger, but there are no negatives. I could use the bottom equation that has smaller numbers and it has a negative. There is no wrong equation to pick. I'm going to just pick one. I'm going to pick the bottom one just because I feel like it. 3x minus y equals 3. Okay, instead of x, I will put what x is. X is 4. So I'm going to put 3 and 4. That is not 34. This is 3 times x. 3 times 4. Yes, that is a 12. In just a second, I'm going to turn that into a 12. I see it all the time. People will put 3 and then an x and then a 4 and they just make a mess of this thing. No. X is gone and 4 is in its place. This is 3 times whatever x is. This is 3 times 4. Minus y equals 3. You know this, I know this, but I'm going to put a 1 right here. That's going to come in handy later. So, 3 times 4 is 12. 12 minus 1y is 3. And I'm looking for the variable y. I don't know what the value of y is. So I'm going to, what am I going to do that 12? Since it's positive, I will subtract it. I'm moving the entire term. When I move that entire term, I need to do the opposite of its sign. Negative 1y equals negative 9. Okay, don't think too hard. Negative 1 times something gives me negative 9. If I divide by negative 1, then y equals 9. I found it. Okay? We have one more. And then the back side is completely up to you to do. Alright, switching to purple. X plus y equals 8. X minus y equals negative 2. Oh, you know what? You thinking what I'm thinking? Let's go ahead and put that. It's my final answer right there. I don't know anything about it yet, but I know that. Okay, does something cancel? Does a variable cancel? 1 plus 1 is not 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. Yes, y cancels. 1 plus 1 is 2x. 1 minus 1 is 0 y. I have no y's. 8 minus 2, subtract 2 is 6. I'm not going to really explain this one, but 2 times something gives me 6. There we go. Okay, we'll stop right here. I'm going to go ahead and tell you what the rest of the answer is. Actually, I'm not. I want to do this one the hard way, because sometimes there's not an easy way. So here's the easy way. If you plug the 3 in, 3 plus something gives me 8. I think you just thought of what it was. However, sometimes you have to wrestle with some negatives in order to get this thing to work. So we're going to, you know the answer, I hope. I'm going to show you the hard way, just in case there is never an easy way in one of these problems. So 3 goes here. 3 minus 1y equals negative 2. And we're going to subtract 3. It's actually similar to what we just did on that last problem. Those cancel, those divide, or I'll subtract them. So negative 1y equals negative 2 minus 3 is negative 5. And we're going to divide by negative 1. Yes, it would have been easier to plug it into the top equation, but either equation works. So y equals 5. There we go. We found it. Have fun. Now that we've gone through a few examples, it would be beneficial for us to get some of those steps stuck in our head. And in the process of knowing those steps, we're going to understand some of the concepts behind it. So, here goes. I got me 2 equations, 2 variables to find. Lining up my variables just to cancel x or y. I might have to multiply. I multiply by constants just to cancel x or y. Math is far too important to do the best you can. You can get a good job and you can be the man. Always do your best. work, you won't be ashamed. Always take responsibility and never pass the blame. This thing is sure, math opens doors. You'll see it when you're 24. Add them, see what you got. You start solving that, plug in what you just got. Start solving that, add them, see what you got. You start solving that, plug in what you just got. You start solving that, add them, see what you got. You start solving that, plug in what you just got. You start solving that. Alright, let me explain the lyrics. Got me two equations, that's bad grammar, but I've got me two equations, got two variables to find, lining up my variables to cancel x or y. So I've lined them up so they'll cancel. These were automatically dealt that way. And got to make one cancel. I might have to multiply. That does not happen here, but at some point I'm going to have to multiply by a constant to get a variable to cancel. Multiply by constants just to cancel x or y. Then it goes into a life lesson about doing the best you can, not being ashamed of your work, because if you always try your hardest, you have no reason to be ashamed. Alright, this thing is sure, math opens doors. You'll see it when you're 24. It's about 24 where a lot of people come back to me and they say, Mr. Reader, I realize the importance of what you taught me. The math itself and the perseverance and the work ethic. So, anyway, the chorus says, add them, see what you got, start solving that. So add them, see what you got. This is what I got. This is what I have. Oh, what I got, it's bad grammar. But add them, see what I got, and start solving that. So I've solved it. Plug in what you just got. So I pick an equation. I'm going to pick that equation right there. I'm going to plug in what I just got and start solving that. So add them, see what you got. Add them, see what you got, and start solving that. Plug in what you just got, and start solving that. I got me two equations, two variables to find. I'm lining up my variables just to cancel x or y. I got to make one cancel, I might have to multiply. I multiply by constants just to cancel x or y. Math is far too important, so do the best you can. You can get a good job and you can be the man. Always do your best work so you won't be ashamed. Always take responsibility and never pass the blame. This thing is sure, math opens doors. You'll see it when you're 24. Add them, see what you got, and start solving that. Plug in what you just got, and start solving that. Add them, see what you got, and start solving that. Plug in what you just got, and start solving that.